It's Just Boxing. I'm back again. Want to talk about Hall of Famer, the great. Some say he's the greatest boxer ever of all time. No, not Muhammad Ali. I'm talking about Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson was born Walker Smith Jr. May 3rd, 1921. He died April the 12th in 1989. He was an American professional boxer who competed from 1940 to 1965. Robinson performances in welterweight and middleweight divisions prompted sports writers to create pound-for-pound rankings, where they compared fighters regardless of weight. He was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1990. He is widely regarded as the greatest boxer of all time. And in 2002, Sugar Ray Robinson was ranked number 1 on the Ring magazine list of 80 best fighters of the last 80 years. This guy's record is just impeccable. I used to hear Kurt Sugar and Scrapbook Boxing talk about him all the time, and I knew about him, but I just didn't know all the fights and stats and and all that stuff. So I just had to go do some reading, and I just decided to do a video about it. But I'm back to it. Robinson was 85-0 as an amateur, with 69 of those victories coming by way of knockout. 40 knockouts in the first round. He turned professional in 1940 at the age of 19. And by 1951, he had a professional record of 128 victories, 1 loss, and 2 draws with 84 knockouts. Man, this is freaking unbelievable, bro. Man. From 1943 to 1951, Robinson went on a 91-fight unbeaten streak. The 3rd longest in professional boxing history. Who was, third? Who was the first? Good grief. Robinson held the world welterweight title from 1946 to 1951 and won the world middleweight title in the latter year. He retired in 1952, only to come back 2.5 years later and regain the middleweight titles in 1955. He then became the first boxer in history to win a divisional world championship 5 times, a feat he accomplished by defeating Carmen Basilio in 1958 to regain the middleweight championship. Robinson was named Fighter of the Year twice, first of his performances in 1942, then 9 years and over 90 fights later for his efforts in 1951. Renowned for his flamboyant style outside the ring, Robinson is credited with being the originator of the modern sports entourage. After his boxing career ended, Robinson attempted a career as an entertainer, but it was not successful. He struggled financially until his death in 1989. In 2006, he was featured on a commemorative stamp by the United States Postal Service. Wow, man, that's a lot of things that happened to those older fighters back in the day, man. They got took advantage of by a lot of people. And a lot of them died poor, died and died in debt. But I'm gonna talk a little bit about his early life. Sugar Ray Robinson was born Walker Smith Jr. in Alley, Georgia, to Walker Smith Sr. and Lilia Hurst. Robinson was the youngest of 3 children. He's the eldest sister. Marie was born in 1917, and his other sister Evelyn is in 1919. His father was a cotton, peanut, and corn farmer in Georgia who moved the family to Detroit, where he initially found work in construction. According to Robinson, Smith Sr. later worked 2 jobs to support his family. He was a cement mixer and a sewer worker. He had to get up at 6 in the morning, and he'd come home close to midnight, 6 days a week. The only day I really saw him was Sunday, and I always wanted to be with him more. His parents separated, and he moved with his mother to New York City neighborhood of Harlem at the age of 12. Robertson originally aspired to be a doctor, but after dropping out of DeWitt Clinton High School in ninth grade, he switched his goals to boxing. When he was 15, he attempted to enter his first boxing tournament, but was told he needed to first obtain an AAU membership card. However, he could not procure one until he was 18 years old. So he received his name when he came back to the AAU age restriction by borrowing a birth certificate from his friend Ray Robinson. That's how he got it. Subsequently told that he was sweet as sugar by a lady in the audience at a fight in Watertown, New York. Smith Jr. became known as Sugar Ray Robinson. Wow. That's crazy how he got that nickname. But Robinson idolized Henry Armstrong and Joe Louis as a youth, and actually lived in the same block as Louis in Detroit when Robinson was 11 and Louis was 17. Outside the ring, Robinson got into trouble frequently as a youth and was involved with street gang. He married at 16 years old. The couple had one son, Ronnie, and divorced when Robinson was 19. But he finished his amateur career with an 85-0 record with 69 knockouts, 40 coming in the first round. He won the Golden Gloves featherweight championship in 1939 and the organization lightweight championship in 1940. Man, this guy is amazing, man. This is amazing. His early career, Robinson made his professional debut on October 4th in 1940, winning by a second-round stoppage over Joe Escovaria. Robinson fought 5 more times in 1940, winning each time with 4 wins coming by the way of knockout. In 1941, he defeated world champion Sammy Angot, future champion Marty Servo, and former champion Fritzy Zivic. The Robinson-Angot fight was held above the lightweight limit since Angot did not want to risk losing his lightweight title. Robinson defeated Zivic in front of a crowd of 20,551 at Madison Square Garden, one of the largest crowds in the arena to the date. Good grief, bro! I don't know how much was the tickets back then, though. I need to check see how much were the ticket prices back then. You know, because you have 20,551 people. That's a lot of people. But anyway, Robinson won the first 5 rounds, according to Joseph C. Nichols, before Zivic came back to land several punches to Robinson's head in the 6th and the 7th round. Robinson controlled the next 2 rounds and had Zivic in the night. After a close 10th round, Robinson was announced as the winner of all 3 scorecards. In 1942, Robinson knocked out Zivic in the 10th round in a January rematch. The knockout loss was only the second of Zivic's career in more than 150 fights. Man, these cats here, bro, are amazing, man. You cannot compare. I call it the modern day fighters with these guys here, man. These guys here was on another level. I'm going to read this again. The knockout loss was only the second of Zivic's career in more than 150 fights. So out of 150 fights, man, the guy, 2 losses? That's incredible, man. But anyway, I'm talking about Robinson now. But Robinson knocked him down in the 9th and 10th rounds before the referee stopped the fight. Zivic and his corner protested the stoppage, but James P. Dawson of the New York Times stayed. Were criticized an inhuman act. The battle had been a slaughter, for want of a more delicate word. Robinson then won 4 consecutive bouts by knockout before defeating Servo in a controversial split decision there in May rematch. But after winning 3 more fights, Robinson faced Jack LaMotta, who would become one of more permanent rivals. For the first time in October, he defeated LaMotta by unanimous decision, although he failed to get Jack down. Robertson weighed 140 pounds compared to 157.5 for LaMotta. Man, that's a middleweight. A welterweight fighting a middleweight. That's crazy. And Sugar Ray Robinson wasn't exactly a welterweight by today's standard, because in today's standard it's 147. But anyway, but he was able to control the fight from the outside for the entire bout, and actually landed the harder punches during the fight. Robinson then won 4 more fights, including 2 against Izzy Janazzo from October 19th to December 14th. For his performances, Robinson was named Fighter of the Year. He finished 1942 with a total of 14 wins and no losses. Robinson built a record of 40 wins and 0 losses before losing for the first time to LaMotta in a 10-round rematch. LaMotta, who had a 16-pound weight advantage over Robinson, knocked Robinson out of the ring in the 8th round and won the fight by decision. The fight took place in Robinson's former hometown of Detroit and attracted a record crowd. After being controlled by Robinson in the early portion of the fight, LaMotta came back to take control in the latter rounds. After winning the third LaMotta fight less than 3 weeks later, Robinson then defeated his childhood idol, former champion Henry Armstrong. Robinson fought Armstrong only because the older man was in need of money. By now, Armstrong was an older fighter, and Robinson later stated that he carried the former champion. Wow. So on February 27, 1943, Robinson was inducted into the United States Army, where he was again referred to as Walker Smith. Robinson had a 15-month military career. Robinson served with Joe Louis, and the pair went on tours where they performed exhibition bouts in front of U.S. troops. Robinson got into trouble several times while in the military. He argued with superiors who he felt were discriminatory against him, and he refused to fight exhibitions when he was told African American soldiers were not allowed to watch them. In late March 1944, Robinson was stationed at Fort Hamilton in Brooklyn, waited to ship out to Europe, where he was scheduled to perform more exhibition matches. But on March 29th, Robinson disappeared from his barracks. When he woke up on April 5th in Fort J Hospital on Governor's Island, he had missed his sailing for Europe and was under suspicion of deserting. He himself reported falling down the stairs in his barracks on the 29th, but said that he had complete amnesia and he could not remember any events from that moment until the 5th. According to his file, a stranger had found him in the street on April 1st and helped him to the hospital. In his examination report, a doctor at Fort J concluded that Robinson's version of the events was sincere. He was examined by military authorities who claimed he suffered from mental deficiency. Robinson was granted an honorable discharge on June 3rd, 1944. He later wrote that unfair press coverage of the incident had branded him as a deserter. Robinson maintained his close friendship with Lewis from their time in the military service, and the two went into business together after the war. They planned to start a liquor distribution business in New York City, but were denied a license due to their race. Of course, he was going to get denied that. You think that people was going to let you get into that in that field during that time? Man, 1944, 45, man, get up out of here, bro. But besides the loss in the LaMotta rematch, the only other mark of Robinson's record during this period was a 10-round draw against Jose Bizarro in 1945. The welterweight champion. By 1946, Robinson had fought 75 fights to a 73 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw record, and beaten every top contender in the welterweight division. However, he refused to cooperate with the Mafia, which controlled much of boxing at that time, and was denied a chance to fight for the welterweight championship. Robinson was finally given a chance to fight chance to win a title against Tommy Bell on December 20th, 1946. Robinson had already beaten Bell once by decision in 1945. But the two fought for the title vacant by Servo, who had himself lost twice to Robinson in a non-title bout. In the fight, Robinson was only a month before had been involved in a 10-round brawl with Arthur Levine. Was knocked down by Bell. The fight was called a war, but Robinson was able to pull out a close 15-round decision, winning the vacant world welterweight title. So in 1948, Robinson fought 5 times, but only one bout was a title defense. Among the fighters he defeated in those non-title bouts were future world champions Kid Gallivan, in a close, controversial 10-round fight. Gavilan hurt Robinson several times in the fight, but Robinson controlled the final rounds with a series of jabs and left hooks. In 1949, he boxed 16 times, but again only defended his title once. In that title fight, a rematch with Gavilan, Robinson again won by decision. The first half of the bout was very close, but Robinson took control. In the second half, Gavilan would have to wait 2 more years to begin his own historic reign as welterweight champion. The only boxer to match Robinson that year was Henry Brim, who fought him to a 10-round draw in Buffalo. Robinson fought 19 times in 1950. He successfully defended his welterweight title for the last time against Charlie Frazzari. Robinson won a lopsided 15-round decision, knocking Frazzari down once. Robinson donated all but $1 of his purse for the Frazzari fight to cancer research. In 1950, Robinson fought George Costner. Excuse me, y'all. In 1950, Robinson fought George Costner, who had also taken to calling himself Sugar, and stated in the weeks leading up to the fight that he was a rightful possessor of the name. We better touch glove because this is the only round, Robinson said, that the fighters was introduced at the center of the ring. Your name ain't Sugar, mine is. Robinson then knocked Costner out in 2 minutes and 49 seconds. Wow. Next, this is the first video of 2. But this is the first half. Next video, I'm going to be talking about Sugar Ray Robinson, middleweight champion. Talking about his comeback fight in 1955. I'm going to talk about his decline, and I'm going to speak a little bit about his, overall professional boxing record. This is It's Just Boxing. This is the Sugar Ray Robinson series, and don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and smash that bell icon to get all notifications of all the new videos that's coming. It's Just Boxing, and I'm out. Peace.